That's how they say it in local, that's how they say it in the hood. Serve you hot, hot. Oh well, I am Moses Humphrey. And of course, Tinubu eyes Kwankwaso as possible replacement for Shettima in 2027. This is according to some insiders.
Oh, well, good morning and thanks for joining us. I am Chukwuma Okoro. Away from that, government faults middlemen for skyrocketing food prices in urban areas.
Also on our radar today, bloody weekend of violence. 12 killed in Borno suicide attacks. 5 dead in Kano explosion. And we also learned that another person also was shot dead in Benue State. I am Fina. Okay, Chiku, those are the major topic of conversation today. We have other trends and stories that will also be chiming into during the course of the program. We encourage you to, click on and subscribe also on our YouTube. On YouTube, we are at Voice of the People TV, and on all that social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. We have a number you can call in to share your ideas or bring your contribution to the table. The number you see is scrolling on your screen there. So to make wonderful use of it, you can send us a 1-minute video of yourself, reacting to any of the topic of conversation thus far. And talking about trends and stories, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has denied reports that he and his political groups have adopted the All Democratic Alliance as their new coalition platform ahead of the 2027 elections. His media aide, Demola Olariwaju, clarified that while the Nigerian National Coalition Group, NNCG, aligned with Atiku to apply to INEC for ADA's registration, no final decision has been made. He emphasized that unresolved issues still exist within the coalition. As some persons were eyeing other individuals to help them out for the 2027 election, here we're getting that the former vice president of Nigeria and also the former presidential candidate of PDP in the 2023 election is distancing himself from a permutation about using ADA as the new coalition party, working very well, working swiftly to make sure that this present administration in the next election, 2027. But now he's distancing himself from it. INEC also told Nigerians that it's not about coming up with names of new political parties or coalition parties to register. It's about doing what is constitutionally right. We know that for a new party to come up, you must have a grassroots representation. You must have wards, offices in wards and councils, and also, in local government before you get to the state and national level and all that. Now, all these persons or all these groups or all these political parties trying to go for a coalition, I hope they are aware of all that INEC is talking about when they're talking about what the Constitution says about having new parties emerge or registering new political parties or coalition group. But now that we're getting from what the media head of Atiku Abubakar, Demola Olariwaju, is talking about, that they have unresolved issues still existing with this particular talk of coalition. We don't even know what is going to happen. First, it was SDP that we learned that he might join, and then we learned from SDP presidential candidate that people who are not part of the party cannot come over and just take over the presidential ticket. It has to be on a grassroots mobilization. Now, ADA, another unresolved issues. I wonder what's going to happen in this 2027 election. But anyway, we'll keep our fingers crossed for that.
I don't think anything is happening. It's just they are playing chess. Atiku will make his alignment known in the coming days, and I do believe he just will be with ADA because he doesn't seem to have a grip of whatever is going on in the PDP. Well, this is just playing, not wanting to come out with all his cards yet. About having a grassroots representation with a caliber of people that have formed the ADA with their pro-tem executives, I do believe they can achieve some sort of grassroots representation. It wouldn't be a difficult task to have offices around the nation, for them to contest an election. So I do believe that ADA, it has come to stay. And I like the choice of name for this particular party. The name and the acronym will keep them somewhere at the top of the ballot sheet. It's an added advantage. So you don't go all the way down looking for PDP and Zenith Party that is all the way at the bottom. You're staying somewhere closer to the APC, somewhere at the top. So yes, I think it's just all of this is just playing to the politics of things and all of that. But let's just keep our fingers crossed. In the coming days, we get to know which party will give APC a run for it in 2027.
Yes, exactly the thing. Keeping our fingers crossed. Well, let me start from where you stopped about the acronym ADA, which means ADA. And ADA more like, ADA is it's multicultural because I see people outside Igbo land. Ada in Igbo land means the first daughter. But in other places, in Cross River, they have Ada. In South Side, parts of South Side, they had Ada. It more like represents. So it's something that they can even coin, a jingle with. They can do to promote the party. But I like what Atiku said. Atiku said, look, how can I endorse a, how can I align with a party that has not been registered? Logical, it's quite logical. It's only ADA is properly registered that they can now say, look, we have adopted ADA as a coalition party. But in all of this, I'm not sure. The problem they have is the problem of ticketing. Who is going to be the flag bearer of the ticket? And they said that much, even without having to openly say it, We understand what's going on. Who is going to fly the flag of the coalition when it eventually happens? Who is going to be the running mate? Where is the ticket going to? And all of that. Talking about grassroots, Atiku has what he calls the Atiku support group, which is nationwide. So with that, and people should also understand that, look, no matter how, whenever Atiku leaves PDP, he's going to go with a chunk of the PDP. So Atiku is still one of the three pods, holding the PDP. Wike is one, Atiku is one, then the rest are one. So whenever he leaves, he is going to live with that one leg. And that leg is very solid, no matter how Wike and others try to pretend about it. And when he go, any place he goes to and dumps that, it's going to be some kind of strength for that organization. That's why some people are saying, is it not possible for Atiku and P2B, to have an agreement? P2B comes with the obedient movement, which is massive. Atiku comes with a chunk of the PDP that, more like trying to say, if you people had gone together in 2023, it would have been a different ballgame. But let's see how it pans out, because there is still time for all of that.
No,
but something happened.
Okay. Now, you just made mention of Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar personally. And you made mention of who will be the flag bearer. So who do you think the cap fits more as a Nigerian individual?
Who the cap fits more?
Yes, to be the flag bearer.
I'm at liberty. I'm at liberty not to tell you who I will vote for, because you're asking me who I will vote for. No.
For the party now, for the coalition, for the major, for everything, you have Atiku, we have Peter Obi. These people now happen to be in one party. And then among the both of them, what do you think should be the flag bearer?
Like I said,
we'll discuss it after the camera.
We'll discuss now. I'm at liberty not to tell you, but I'm not at liberty to speak for either Obi or Atiku, so I'll leave them to sort their problems out. One thing happened. The ADA, that the form they submitted was to Independent National Commission. Electoral is missing out there. So whether INEC is going to use that to disqualify their application or what, but even if it's disqualified, they can resubmit it. So that shouldn't be a big deal. But like I said, let's see how it pans out. We still have time. In the coming days, coming weeks, and coming months, we will know who is going to fly the flag of the coalition. Let's move away from that and still stay in politics, where Senate President Godswill Akpabio has predicted that Similaya Fubara of Rivers State and Oyediri of Bayelsa will soon defect to the All Progressives Congress, APC. While joining other South governors who have recently aligned with the ruling party. Speaking during a grand reception for Akwa Ibom Governor Umar, who recently dumped the People's Democratic Party, PDP, for the APC, Akpabio described the move as a political reunification of the region with the rest of Nigeria. Oh well, Akpabio has, people said rumor. It is no longer rumor. He has spilled now. He has already said it, so it's been in the works. Nigerians know that it's been in the works. So why are you telling us about Fubara? We all know what is. Nigerians believe that he's been given conditions, to be recalled to office as governor. And that one of the conditions is that he must have to port to the APC. Talking about Oyediri, well, I'm not very sure that he's going to move. But using what Umar cited as the reason why he's moving, that look, he's worked so hard and he doesn't want to win an election, and someone goes to court to say, look, because a particular person that signed their form wasn't the authorized signatory and all of that. I think that fear is real, among the PDP governors and even other electable officers and elective positions and all of that. If you put all those things together, but I'm more worried with the way Akpabio is coming at that. Look, South is going to vote Tinubu in 2027. That's 99.5% of Southerners are going to vote for Tinubu. You don't say things like that. Akpabio always, it's more like, I don't even know how to describe it. His handlers don't even know how to advise him. He's so loquacious, he's so garrulous, he says what he's not supposed to say. He's unpresidential in his comments. If you feel strongly about campaigning for Tinubu, just say that, look, you are going to support him, not that the whole of Southerners. It's an insult on the collective intelligence of Southerners, people from the South. You don't speak for them. You represent just a constituency in Akwa Ibom, not even the whole of Akwa Ibom state. You are not at liberty to speak for them. You can only volunteer an opinion. So, well, I've always had a problem with the way Akpabio speaks, but I don't have a problem with I don't have a problem because Southerners have reacted. Go to X and see how they are trolling him. They have told him simply, Mr. Man, you don't have the right to speak for us. But let's see what happens. Well, Fubara and Doyediri, two of the remaining PDP states in the South, let's see how it pans out.
Coming from an individual whose local government was given back, I'm talking about after the local government election, that we know that his own local government, his own particular constituency, he lost, or the candidate actually from their lost, they had to give him one particular local government as a matter of compensation, telling the whole Nigeria that 99% or 90% of South will vote for a particular party because he already aligned his own thought with them, is a bit laughable. But now, bring it back to the issue of forcing people to join a particular political party. I see implosion happening there very soon. Yes, because the party it looks more like it's going to implode because some persons who are moving over to that party, they're not really doing it because they want to do it. They are doing it because maybe they are being gagged to, or maybe they are being forced to. For example, with what happened in River State, where the elected governor there, was suspended, state of emergency declared, sole administrator being, elected or put in position of the elected governor. And then, according to what Wike said, we've told him what to do. He knew what to do, so he should go ahead and do what is needful, or he should go ahead and do the needful at this point in time. I think if he's to move out to that party, because of the fact that at this point in time his hands are being tied, he might also pull out after the election if he's to join the APC. And that's what I'm seeing actually basically in other governors or other political elected officers who decided to cross carpet because they want to be there to get a position for themselves, maybe second term, or retain their position in 2027. After that particular election, I also foresee a mass exodus of persons who have cross-carpeted to APC, to their original party, or to any other party. Now, for how long are we going to continue this way? It speaks more to, what we do in Nigeria, political parties not having ideology or not even knowing what they are there for. The progressives are there, the democratic parties are there, then other parties also are there. So when are we going to have a stop or a pause or a halt on all this, political prostitution that we experience or we see from our political elite? If, for example, the likes of Umeno said that the reason is moving, or Doye Diri also is moving, is because of the fact that they're having internal issues with PDP. Why can't PDP sit back and arrange a way to solve their problem as a party? Why must people leave the party to another party when they know that they don't really have the same or aligned ideology playing out? I think APC should actually be careful, or else there'll be implosion in the party.
Well, I align with your thoughts on the grounds that we might see these individuals move back after the 2027 election, because it's all about survival for a lot of these individuals, these governors who are being coerced largely to decamp from their parties and pitch their tents with the APC. And then how much loyalty can you truly command from people when they do things out of coercion? How much loyalty? Whoever is compelling people to join his team should be wary. He might be poisoned. they might fight back one way or another. And that's exactly what we are seeing. For Seminalaye Fubara, well, we already know. We already know that he will move to the APC to save himself. And I will not be surprised if the governor of Bayelsa State, Doyediri, also moves. So if the South becomes all APC, will that guarantee, winning elections in 2027? I don't think so. I don't think so, because ultimately, members of these political parties have one vote each. And then the members of the people, there are a lot of Nigerians who do not belong to any political party. All they want to do is vote whoever they feel will give them what they want. So if Nigerians decide to line up behind a particular individual that they trust, it may not go well for these people who are moving. And you see, the onus still rests on the people. If you decide not to vote, if you tell yourself, oh, they already know who will be there, so I won't come out to vote, you're giving them an opportunity to rig elections. But when you come out, you thumbprint, you do it right, all right? You thumbprint the appropriate way, it doesn't cross the line and all of that. Then you make it difficult. If the number of people that have registered to vote in a particular place cast their votes, it becomes difficult for anybody to inflate the numbers. So it's up to you, yes, you, to ensure that whoever you support is the person that you give your vote to in 2027, and let's together make Nigeria a better place. That's all I'll say in that regard. Now let's go to another issue. You see, we stay within the realm of politics this morning. It's interesting. We're starting the Monday hard. Well, President Bola Tinubu has demanded swift and decisive action from Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwang following the brutal killing of 12 wedded guests by a mob in Mangu local government area. The victims, who were traveling from Zaria, Kaduna to Kwanpan LGA for a wedding, were ambushed in Mangu district. 11 others sustained injuries during the attack. It's an unfortunate one indeed, quite an unfortunate one. But you see, there's a lot of tension going on, a lot of tension. The people have been attacked, and I think this is what those attackers, those that attack the villages and burn houses, kill children, this is what they want. This is what they want. This is the kind of chaos that they want, because they attack, they run away, they don't claim responsibility. So it leaves it open for people to just decide to attack one another. And I think they are getting what they want. Now, what decisive action do you want to see? What decisive action do you want the governor to take? Are we going to see a repeat of what happened in Edo State, where people were just bundled and sent to Abuja? Are we going to see that? All right. Well, I think the governor should do the needful. Talk to the people. People should quail angered nerves. Find a way to, because the people are upset. People have been killed, and it doesn't seem like government is doing anything. And if care is not taken, if things continue the way they are going, more Nigerians will take laws into their hands. And then I think if I now tell Chukwuma that Nigeria is a failed state, at that time, he won't argue with me. But we don't pray for that to happen.
Yes, talking about Nigeria being a failed state, as at that time we had that argument, Nigeria wasn't a failed state, but the indices were there. And up until this moment, Nigeria is still not a failed state, speaking technically, but we are gradually descending to that, because what it tells me is that, look, anarchy is coming. Anarchy is coming. If you factor in what happened in Edo State, now between non-state, this is not even about non-state, are they non-state actors? These are between civilians, killing one another. And again, in Benue State, these people are not like unknown gunmen. They are not bandits. They are not headers. They just suspected that, look, this group of people were up to one evil and they had to kill them. So that is where anarchy sets in. Now, when non-state actors, like we see happen in Borno State, like we see happen in Benue and Plateau, when they strike and run away, and the state still has control of the monopoly of legitimate violence. You start talking about failed states index and all of that. But let's move away from that and stay on what happened or what went down in Plateau State. Nigeria has become a killing field. But unfortunately, we have a government, or we have governments that don't seem to understand the import of where we are headed, which is the anarchy that I talked about. Now, the president is quick to ask the governor to take decisive political action. What do you want the governor to do? And people are asking, okay, is it because Muslims were killed? Now, when Christians are killed, do you also give that kind of order that governors should take decisive action? I don't want to get into the politics of ethnicity, the religious politics, and all of that. My worry is that Nigerians are being killed in their numbers, and the government looks like they don't even know what to do again. We have become inured to the side of blood. 50 killed, 200 killed, and life goes on. We go on commissioning projects, and just by on the sideline, you say, okay, let's commiserate the people that lost their lives the other week, and tomorrow we go on with commissioning projects in Kaduna, in Abuja, in Enugu, and in all parts of the country. People are being killed in their numbers in Enugu State, in Ondo, in all parts of the country. And we have a president who, when he was outside, was calling on the fellow president, Goodluck Jonathan, to take action. Now he is on seat, where the buck stops at his table. He's now calling governors to take action. Isn't that hypocrisy? Isn't that buck passing? I don't know what else to call it if it is not all of this. Nigerians, please, we shouldn't turn Nigeria to a killing field, because that is essentially what it's becoming. That was how Somalia started before it unraveled. That was how Rwanda started before it unraveled. That was how Yugoslavia started before it unraveled. Iraq and all of that, sectarian killings and all of that. It's not a good journey. It's not a good direction to go to.
By the way, I like your look this morning. Chukwuma is looking very, very innocent.
Once you stop it, I like it.
Very innocent.
No, I'm innocent.
Right.
Innocent.
Okay.
But you know, on a more serious note, I'm happy. Thank you so much more for bringing up that humor. Of course, emotions are already welling up and all that. Now, if you say that the government don't know what to do, I would disagree. They know what to do, how to do it, when to do it, but the problem there is this: they don't want to do it. That is just the simplest way to explain this. Because I don't see the reason the government will just be there and today you go ahead to commiserate with a particular state over loss of Nigerians, tomorrow the same thing. I know how many millions was earmarked for Nigerian government for Aso Rock alone to be getting papers. I know how much also was earmarked for data. They will tell Nigerians that they have intelligence. They gather intelligence on trivial things, but they don't want to gather intelligence on people who are killing people, attackers, persons who are sacking villagers from their ancestral homes and all that. It's more like they're enjoying the whole killings playing out in Nigeria. Now, I feel bad anytime, you know, I get to see that another man or another life is lost. These are preventable death. It is not the one that we say is inevitable. No, something would have been done for all this actually not to happen. For the persons that were killed in Mangu, I don't know how to explain. How can you tell me that persons were just going their way, their wedding guests, and boom, they were being ambushed and they were being burnt, some of them killed, some sustained different degrees of injury. Nigerians are not that barbaric. Nigerians are not that way in nature, as the case may be. I don't think sane persons will just be moving on their own and next to that thing you see is you block the road, you start killing them without anything, without proper investigation. No, Nigeria as a nation, Nigerians as people are not that inhuman. Now, bring it back again to all the things that have been happening. For example, in Enugu State, I called someone there and the person said, no, we are no longer living in the village, you're now in the city. Why? Reason is that some persons will go there, kidnap women who are working in the farm, rape them, and go ahead to do dehumanizing things with their bodies. Some of them are being facing, so many things that we cannot even talk about them. Like, I can't find myself talking about it. And then I asked, what is the government doing about it? And the person said some time ago they went out to protest, and the police had to use tear gas to disperse them, saying that they are trying to deface the governor who actually was elected by the people again, that they are crying about the killings and the raping of women, the raping of young girls in the state. And no one is saying anything about that. The president today is telling Muftuang to take decisive action. What action is he as a president is taking to make sure that the people that he's being ruled, is being governed, are no longer dying? He should take decisive, not just come up to say, go out there, fish out the killers. He should do the needful as the president of Nigeria. That is all I can say.
All right then, that's Fina vented. Well, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be looking at headlines from the papers. Well, thanks for joining us. Now, I have The Guardian in front of me, and from The Guardian newspaper, the window headlines here. ECOWAS, build to champion democracy, security, regional reform. APC silent as PDP dismisses formation of ADA. Lamido differs with Nyam over Tinubu's role in June 12 annulment. And then the big story, Israel-Iran war. Hope for Nigeria's troubled fiscal outlook as oil prices head to $80. Already, Dangote Refinery has increased pump price, ex-depot price, and that, of course, will affect pump price of fuel around the nation. It's going back to 1,000 naira gradually. I think it's about 950 right now. Israel-Iran tensions shake markets, and then there's a lot of stories that we'll talk about them when we get into newspaper review at 10 o'clock. But in the meantime, Sanwo-Olu to meet APC stakeholders ahead of LG polls. Cloud burst. Ogun government urges calm as lightning kills 32 cows. Lightning kills 32 cows. Goodness gracious. Obi Atiku decry rising insecurity as Tinubu northern governors condemn killings. And then insecurity escalates in Yenagoa. Judge abducted. Man confesses to killing toddler. Nigeria losing $500 million yearly to abandoned containers at ports. Serek warns. Now these are the headlines.
The First News newspaper is up next, and beside the masthead, we must act now to save Nigeria. Obi slams Tinubu over insecurity, corruption. Beneath the masthead, UK backs US strikes on Iran over nuclear threat as China urged ceasefire. Transfer. He is making us wait. Galatasaray VP frustrated over Osimhen's delay. The First News newspaper. Okay, the First News newspaper. And beside that story, lightning strike and kills 32 cows in Ogun during heavy rainfall. The banner headline, massacre in Plateau. 22 arrested as mobbed wedding guests buried amidst tight security. Panic in Yenagoa's High Court judge kidnapped by gunmen. ICC should investigate Benue killing, Serap tells Tinubu. And the bottom strip headline, JAM sets June 28 for 2025 UTM EMOP examination. Those are the headlines.
Okay, let's quickly run through the New Telegraph. VAT, that's value-added tax. Northeast states received 124.22 billion naira proceeds, generated 36.04 billion naira. I'll take that again for emphasis. VAT value-added tax. Northeast states received 124.22 billion naira proceeds, generated 36.04 billion naira. Now, South raised 364.99 billion naira, got 171.18 billion naira. Oh well, OMT bets first LNG-powered container ship at Onne Port. The window headlines: troops nab 8 suspected kidnappers, rescue 2 victims. Jump: 96,838 candidates to take mop-up UTME on Saturday, suspends 113 CBT centers. And INEC working with ABC to scuttle our NEC meeting, says PDP. That's coming from Ologo. Lori Okpebo, we've petitioned Tinubu, AGF, others over robot failure to pay tenancy levy. Now, the banner headline: Tinubu supported June 12th annulment, not part of pro-democracy struggle. That's coming from Lamido. Ex-Jigawa governor, jealous of president's credentials, trying to write history with lies. Presidency response. Tinubu hands over ECOWAS chair to Sierra Leone's President Bio. Killings. Clerics asks federal government to designate killer headers terrorists. Tinubu mourns Bono suicide bombing, Kano explosion victims. Others Plateau killers arrest. Anambra South by-election may hold before Goba poll as pressure mounts on INEC. Now, more headlines there. Attack fallout, US citizens, troops in Middle East, legitimate targets, Iran declares. 2027, issues as coalition promoters seek registration of new party. Opposition aims to recreate 2013 coalition. South 8 leaders endorse emerging group. And the bottom strip, more microplastic found in glass bottles study. And that's all from New Telegraph newspaper.
And that's all for newspaper headlines. Join us again at 10 for newspaper review, where we'll have an elaborate analysis of these stories that are on the cover pages of the dailies. But in the meantime, let's talk politics. Tinubu eyes Kwankwaso as possible replacement for Shettima in 2027. This is coming from an insider. Let's discuss this when we come back from this break. Join us again.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOPTV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOPTV, Voice of the People Television.
Are you planning special occasion, or are you looking for a place to store your boat? Welcome to Big's Boat Club and Gardens. Our gardens provides a serene ambience for those special occasions like weddings, birthdays, family picnics, or any outdoor event. And if you're a boat lover and you've been worried about where to store your precious boat, worry no more. We introduce Big's Boat Club and Gardens. At Big's Boat Club and Gardens, we are more than just a boatyard. We are a premier destination for boat lovers. We provide a secure environment for you to store your priceless boats, and we ensure they are in top shape for whenever you need them. Our members have freedom to commercialize their boats for exclusive cruises and luxury trips to stunning beach houses. And when it's time to set sail, our on-site fuel station ensures you are always ready to cruise in style. Big's Boat Club and Garden is located at Wale Olateju Crescent off Admiralty Way, Lekki Phase 1. Follow us on Instagram at BigsGarden_BBC. Big's Garden, where leisure meets lifestyle. The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before. Good morning. It's the start of a beautiful day. Well, start your day right with a healthy dose of news, fun, and inspiration. Join us on VOP this morning for the latest news, trending topics, and uplifting stories to set your day on the right vibe. From news and current events to lifestyle and entertainment, you are covered. VOP this morning, 8 a.m., Monday through Friday. Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to
Well, thanks for joining us. President Bola Tinubu is reportedly considering former Kano State Governor and NNPP leader Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso as a possible replacement for Vice President Kashim Shettima in 2027 presidential election. Well, sources in Abuja say Tinubu's camp is actively courting Kwankwaso to return to the APC, banking on his widespread northern grassroots support and the influence of the Kwankwansia movement to strengthen the president's re-election chances. Well, Kwankwaso has already held private meetings with Tinubu, and the move is said to be gaining traction among key APC power brokers. The move comes amid rising APC tensions after Chairman Ganduje refused to endorse Shettima at a Gombe meeting. Now, a viral video also showed Shettima snubbing Ganduje at an Akwa Ibom event, fueling speculations of a growing rift within the party. Now, that's the video on the screen. Shettima skillfully avoided shaking hands with Ganduje. In fact, went over his shoulder, shook hands with some, yes, right there, and then turned around and, well, moved away. Well, there you have it. There you have it. I just ran the commentary of what just happened right there. Okay. Well, that's it. Okay. Now, we have with us Barrister Darlington Agumwa, who is a political analyst and, of course, VOP in-house analyst. Thank you very much for joining us, Barrister.
My pleasure.
And we also have Nonso Emecheta, a human rights activist, scholar, social crusader, and a philosopher. Well, he's dressed like a philosopher this morning.
Thank you for having me.
To you.
Thank you.
Good to have you join us this morning. Now, virtually we'll have Prince Nixon Okwara, the public affairs commentator. He'll be joining the conversation. Good morning to you, Prince Nixon. Well, I guess he'll join in.
Good morning from here. How are you today?
Great. Good to have you join the conversation. Just wanted to establish contact with you. Now, it's a beautiful thing that you're here. Let me start with you, Prince Nixon. I'm sure you saw the video that we just played, where it seemed like Shettima skillfully avoided shaking hands with Kwankwaso, and we know what transpired with Ganduje, I beg your pardon, and we know what transpired in Gombe State not too long ago. Does it seem like the APC is already having termites eating it from within? Does it seem like the APC is breaking apart already?
There is nothing like that at all. There's nothing like that at all. The fact is that the opposition wish that APC is breaking apart, but the APC remains intact. I think they just showed a clue of the part of the video. They didn't see eventually how where the vice president departed without eventually shaking hands. Um, I think there's a part of video there that you will see that he eventually even shook hands with him for a long time before he departed that scene. I want to believe that a lot of opposition are hopeful and praying that their wish for APC, but no matter what they think, APC remains the party to beat in 2027 and is intact. We are making progress. There's no rift at all.
Amazing. I like your optimism. I really admire it. Now, but let's look at what the rumor mill has churned out, that there is a possibility that Shettima will be replaced with Kwankwaso in 2027 as the vice president to President Bola Tinubu. Well, history, if history is anything to go by, we know that as governor of Lagos State, he had about 3 deputies. You know, he seemed to like to work with 1 or 2 and then change them. He's always rejigging the cabinet. With all of that, do you think that Kwankwaso has the numbers that the APC seeks to swing elections their way in 2027? Having in mind that in 2023 elections, NNPP with Kwankwaso as the flag bearer only came fourth, a distant fourth with just a little over 1 million votes. Would that be enough?
As a matter of fact, in politics, you can't rule out alliances, and negotiation is still part of it. When you look at the fact that the opposition parties has no place in the whole of the Southwest, the whole of the Southeast, the whole of the South-South, and partly they're still struggling to see if they will register a presence in the North Central. So you find out that the Northeast and Northwest is very important to our party. So I won't be surprised that the president might be considering looking into some possible alliances in that part to see that he also gains more ground in Northeast and Northwest for 2027 elections. So such negotiations can be possible. And when you look at the vote source breakdown of 2023 elections, the 67 or 60 something percent votes of Kano State was totally kind of got by Kwankwaso. His popularity in the north with the Kwankwaso movement.
Right, okay.
Yes, he's a very, very strategic one for the party. So I think he's not a bad consideration.
All right, then let's bring our studio guests into the conversation. Barrister Darlington, what are your thoughts, really?
I don't think it will work.
You don't think what will work?
Yes, this move now indicates that APC and Tinubu, they are G3. They are seriously G3. If I know Tinubu well, even Kwankwaso would just want to be used, and then he will not last the whole of...
Kwankwaso would want to be used, like he will
surrender
himself to be used.
If Tinubu succeeds in getting Kwankwaso in, he will only use him. He wants to get northern votes. But I think the only place Kwankwaso is the popular is only in Kano. That was where he got his 1 million vote in the last election or so. He's not a popular voice, you know. And I said it initially when Shettima was imposed on Tinubu. Tinubu never chose Shettima. It's on record. They imposed it on him because the northern extremists believe that Shettima is their man because of his antecedents. So they wanted somebody to checkmate Tinubu. Unfortunately, Tinubu was able to outsmart them to be his own person and all that, haven't gotten all the power. And so Shettima has become a spent force. You can see he's not playing any major role, nothing. Security or economy, you can't find a Shettima. Tinubu collected everything from him because the man was trying to assert himself And he's not even praising Tinubu as he's supposed to be, because Tinubu like ego. I've not seen anywhere where Shettima was deferring and
or singing on your Mondays.
All those things that Tinubu likes so much. Like a weekend will come out and be beating his chest and be dancing.
Okay.
So all
right,
those things. Yes.
Barrister, I liked what's the angle that you took. You said that, look, that Shettima is an extremist and he represents the extreme north. And we all understand what extremists do. You know, they are fewer in number, but they wreak more havoc in whatever they want to do than the large number of people. Now, if you factor that Shettima represents the extreme side of the north and they were solidly behind him, though few in number, what impact is his absence in Tinubu's presidency as running mate? What impact will it make in the 2027 general election? Especially given the fact that you also said that, look, even Kwankwaso doesn't have that kind of muscle because he was able to muster only 1 million votes in 2023.
That is why I'm saying that Tinubu is G3. They are now doing, what's that called it now? Pick and choose.
Okay, so
they are not sure.
He's G3 about what?
About the next election. He's looking for somebody who will placate the North on his behalf.
So if he's G3, wouldn't it be better for him to retain Shettima instead of going for a lesser figure like Kwankwaso, who, by the way, like you said, mustered only 1 million votes?
No, he can't, because he's G3 because the person you are talking about is not popular. So he's looking for a replacement that will be popular to placate the North.
Okay, does it look like the Muslim ticket has failed?
It has failed.
But he's going for another Muslim.
No, we are not sure. We are not sure. These are permutations. We are not sure yet. I even heard that a certain Alia from Benue State is equally in the car or on the table. And that's why he's trying doing everything to cover up what was going on in Benue State.
Do you think that the North will vote for a Christian vice president?
The
Muslim North.
Why not? If not, as long as he's from that region. Why wouldn't they? Is the place meant for only Muslims?
All right, let's bring it
The earlier they spread it out, the better. Because you have a large number of Christians in the North. And since this Muslim ticket has failed everybody, including Christians, they would want their own person to be there. And that's what Tinubu is looking for.
Interesting point, Barrister Darling. Now to you, Mr. Noso Emecheta, we're talking about possible the president Teotun to Kwankwaso to become the running mate for the 2027 election. But during the APC meeting that happened in the Northeast, we saw the fallout just because Ganduje did not mention Shettima during that particular endorsement of the president's administration. It wasn't something that was hidden from the camera. Now, do you think that research happening and possible relegation of Shettima to the background and appointment or picking of Kwankwaso now to go in instead of this particular man who have already, do you think that the northeastern part of this nation will take it lightly with the present administration? Thank you so much. The truth of the matter is that decision did not resonate with the Northerners. You watch what happened in Gombe. They were shouting Shettima, no APC. And a lot of political analysts have argued that the recent bombings, all those bombings can be traced to the incident of not mentioning Shettima. That's what some people are saying, that they are angry that Shettima was deliberately omitted.
So you think they're trying to the country to make chaos erupt?
That's just make their region
ungovernable. So for me, anybody that tells us that there is no crack in the APC as we speak is just playing the ostrich. That's the truth of the matter. There is a crack in the APC. And what I will say about the whole scenario is the fact that APC is bifurcated as we speak. There is a division. The Northerners, especially the Northeast, they love Shettima. You saw the pandemonium that erupted in that meeting when the vice chairman of the Northeast, that's a Mustafa Salihu, deliberately omitted the name. They did not even allow him to finish the speech. They started throwing chairs.
Do you think the president will care?
The president has to care this time around because the Northerners, some people argue that the Northeast did not give the president enough votes in 2023. That's why they are calling for Shettima's replacement. But some of them fail to understand the fact that
Shettima is like the darling of the North. They love him so much. And the fear of Nigerians is the fear
Is it really the darling
violence.
of the North or darling of a selected few? Because you could recall that when the attacks in Borno State were happening, he was the governor of the state then. And then we could also recall what played out, how a notorious person was found also chilling in his own apartment. Now, is he really the darling of the North or darling of extremists who have been causing one or two, havoc in Nigeria, if I'm to use that word?
That's exactly my argument. He has been associated with insurgents. That's the truth of the matter. Even when Shettima his name was projected as a vice president, Nigerians frowned at it. Now, why are they bringing this man who has been known as, a sponsor of Boko Haram and other insurgents in the north to represent Nigerians as the vice president? That it will create a fertile ground, for insurgency to continue to fester in the country.
So you don't think it's high time we weed him off for Nigeria to regain its sanity over the fact that we'll be losing people who've lost so many innocent lives, to the hands of those insurgents or bandits or terrorists, as the case may be?
That's my position, because a lot of political analysts say that the recent bombings, the Kanu, and the Borno, these are the supporters saying, you omitted our master's name. So this is what we play out.
Okay, now, so if you say that, look, he is the darling of the North.
No, extremists, sir. The Boko Haram, sir, is the Boko Haram in quotes.
Okay, Boko Haram in quotes.
Just extremists, yes.
You also said that the North love him so much.
Yes.
So the North love him so much, and he's the darling of the Boko Haram. So now, does this suggest that the North likes what is going on in their region?
They don't like what is going on in
So
their
how
region.
come they like the person that is allegedly causing the problem in their region?
My argument, sir, is that the extremists, these are the people projecting Shettima. And most of these guys are not educated. Some of them don't even know, just because somebody is shouting Shettima, that's one to kill him. But for me, I think it is time we remove Shettima so that Nigeria, even everybody in the southeast, will have insurgency, will have extremism spreading across the country.
All right, thanks very much. Now, let's go back to Port Harcourt, where we still have Prince Nixon Okwara standing by. Nixon, good morning to you once again.
Yeah, good morning. How are you today?
Very well, thank you. Okay, let's stay on APC being intact. You said that the APC is intact. If you, I don't know if you saw a video of what happened in Gombe, that Nonso cited, where because Shettima's name was omitted, bedlam, happened in that occasion. And in parts of Kano State, we see people pull down APC banners and flags. We have had one Audu Aliyu, spokesperson to the president, leave his position. He's retired. He left and he said, no, I don't want to support APC because they are pushing Nigeria to one-party state. And he also vowed that he was going to work against the president while still in the APC. We also saw Baba Hakim Ahmed, throw in the towel a few months ago saying, look, this is not what we want in Nigeria. If you put all of these things together, do you still go away with the impression that APC is intact?
There is no political party without disagreements. That is fact we must always understand. When we're moving into the 2023 election, there were a lot of issues. Mind you that what happens, this is about who gets what. Everybody must be scheming to position himself politically to remain relevant. Preservation of self-preservation is the most important part of every politician. So, and when these interests are playing out, there is certainly every possibility that there will be some levels of disagreements openly, privately, and all that. But at the end of the day, understanding the principle of the party and the leadership of the party under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who you have seen severally manage such situations and get out of it better.
Okay, so these disagreements, do they amount to some form of division within the APC?
Not at all. APC is still one family as I speak to you, and there is no division. And you can see that the fact that many people are still coming into the party in droves from all states joining APC, declaring for APC, will tell you why opposition are trying to build on necessary little fractions of.
Okay. So Prince Nixon, the divisions in the PDP, do they amount to the disagreements in the PDP? Do they amount to a division within the PDP?
You find out that the PDP is not even almost not there anymore.
No. So I'm sorry, the Prince. The disagreements within the PDP, does it amount to a division within the PDP?
Yes, certainly.
Okay, so in PDP, disagreements amount to division, but in APC, disagreements amount to being intact.
Unfortunately, where there are two different things there, the PDP have been able to demonstrate their inability to manage their internal differences for a very long time, but this is not happening in APC. If you look at it from all the PDP post-2015 election to post-2023 election, post-2019 election, they have not demonstrated any form of readiness to resolve their issues and come out as a party. And they keep pointing and accusing fingers to people who are responsible for their internal matters. Right. There is no way you can make a difference in Rome from outside, in Basilica from outside Rome. So that is different from APC, who at every given period will always settle our differences and move into the party election stronger. We will get better from all these things you're seeing. Is all about people pursuing their personal interests, and is allowed in any political system. That is the gospel truth.
All right,
so
then.
What I don't agree.
Okay, sorry, please.
I beg your pardon?
Go ahead. Land on your thoughts.
So, what I don't agree, you see, when some people would look and say the president is jittery or the use and dump, you see, these things, they don't add up. When you look at the political antecedents of our presidents, coming from AC to the AD, he remained playing a major role from the outside, from a minority to majority, and now to the major political ruling party in West Africa, one of the biggest in West Africa. You can't talk about G3, a man who played from outside and was able to secure the tickets of the party APC and won that elections. So why are we talking about that? So all these things don't add up. Let us not be building out some sentiments out of nothing. We must start looking at the key issues that concern insecurity. It has nothing to do with APC or no APC. Insecurity, when you look at what's happening with the ISIS, meanwhile, what the other commentator said on the bombing and the rest of it all, none of these ICC or ISWAP or any of them have owned up to that particular incident that happened in the Northeast. Rather, you just find out that there is a tactical upgrade. There's a change in tactics by these people, which should concern everybody when it comes to security and not play politics with it. Right. The terrorists coming from ISIS, from the Sahel and the rest of it all, have changed even to the use of drone. In the past 1 year, we can see tactical escalations. These should be things of concern that we must be talking about.
Yeah, we're talking about it where we should.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Prince Nixon. Okay. Barrister Darlington, one more question for you. Now, we know the president is very strategic in whatever he does. He's been accredited. He's been credited for being a strategist. And well, you're shaking your head in disagreement, but allow me land with my question. Now, the president has been able to bring people to the APC. Governors are running to the APC. APC seems to be the shelter for all governors who want to remain in power. But some have said something has to give for these people to stay or to want to join the APC. What do you think it will cost the president to bring Kwankwaso into the APC as a vice president? Do you think it will be expensive?
Yes. There will be political implosion. The Gandujes. Remember that the Ganduje was offered the ambassadorial position and he turned it down because he was aiming at something. This same Ganduje have been running all over the country, capturing states for Tinubu. You think he's doing it for nothing? And now you want to replace him with Kwankwaso, who is not even a member of the party, and you are telling me that some people will be happy with that, it will not. You see, we have overhyped Tinubu and the so-called strategy. But since he came into office, I have not seen any strategy.
Political
both
strategy.
In politics, both in economy, both in even governance. Mention one strategic move Tinubu have made. These people that are joining
political
APC,
strategy.
I didn't see any. Mr. Moses, I didn't see any. Rather, people are being coerced. People are being intimidated. People are being threatened because they have one infraction somewhere or the other. You either join us or we'll unleash EFCC on you. Is that strategy?
I think that's what's going
like
on.
what happened in Rivers State, that a local government sole administrator was beaten with a cutlass. I think you've seen that video.
Yes, I have.
This is a part of the strategy. Look at beating him to resign. This is a strategy, Mr. Moses. Is that what you call strategy? This is a part of it. Intimidation, violence. If that is the way you cause, please count me out. That is not strategy.
Barrister, are you linking that to the? Are you linking that to are you linking that to the president now?
Please, who is behind that? Who is those talks? Are they PDP talks or Labour Party talks? Who are they coming? Where are they coming from?
Do you know what party they
wherever. It cannot be outside APC because that is their stock in trade. That is their. No other person could go and do that in Rivers State and get away. No other party can do that. No other party. Quote me. If you trace it down the line, it must be APC boys. That's what they do. And they were told by somebody to go and do that thing they were doing. That's why nobody arrested anybody. No other party could go and do that thing in Rivers. No other party.
Also, you just made mention of Kwankwaso now and Ganduje. What strength do you think Ganduje have against Kwankwaso? Or do you think he has a force now to stand against Kwankwaso, who happens to be the one who brought him into politics, if I'm to use that word in Kano State at this point in time? Do you think it has a political strength?
The fact remains that Ganduje is the national chairman of APC.
And the president actually happens to be the one who dictates what happened in APC, if I'm to use the word.
Not when it comes to election, though. I have told you, the antecedent of Tinubu is well known. Maybe that is his own way of, because, you know, when you have overstayed your welcome in a particular place, you tend to assert your power and all that. So Tinubu doesn't want to share power with anybody. That's why he's changing his vice.
All right, now
when he was in Lagos State, it happened. Okay. I don't know why somebody is not making reference to that.
Thank you so much, Barrister.
Strategists cannot behave like that.
No.
You only use people and dump them. Use people and dump them.
Barrister, politics is a game of interest. But now let's bring in Chinonso back again into the conversation. Yeah. People have been talking about a possible implosion in APC over the fact that political elites are being gagged or being forced to join the party. You know, some of the opinion that we're going to experience another mass exodus. You know, persons who are being forced to join the party will be forced to leave again when maybe if their dreams are not being met or their hope actually is being dashed or crashed. Do you also perceive that happening anytime soon?
I align my thought with that of the barrister, because if you look at what is happening now, is coercion. It's nothing like strategy. Because if you are a good strategist, you should have a democratic temperament that will naturally attract people towards joining your party. Exactly. Not a situation whereby you will use an iron fist, you know, to, you forced to remove people's political feeding bottle from their mouth if they don't do your biddings. For me, it's nothing but coercion. So the president has been forcing people. Look at what happened in Rivers State. Exactly. He imposed state of emergency, and we lost over 200 innocent Nigerians in Benue State, and state of emergency was not declared. So what are we talking about?
So are you saying that the words of Lamido today, talking about the jaw of tuna annulment crisis, as he was kind of claimed that presidency actually happens to have a hand in it, talking about the June 12th annulment. He made mention of the president now not playing a good role in that particular June 12th.
Yeah, the issue of June 12th, for instance, the president, has been, giving posthumous award on democracy day. So the June 12th issue, the president claimed to be an Adeko Democrat. That is the angle I'm coming from. Everybody loved Tinubu, that he's a Democrat. He went to exile because of June 12th and all that. Now the president is in power now. everybody expected him to play the role of a Democrat. But he went to Rivers State and imposed a state of emergency and removed a democratically elected governor. That is not the temperament or the spirit of a Democrat, if you ask me. So aligning him with the June 12th and him not doing the right thing as a Democrat now that he's in power is a contradiction in terms.
All right, then, well, let's move away from this conversation to another, but the president will remain on our lips as we get into this other conversation. Tinubu's administration blames middlemen for rising urban food prices. Let's talk about this when we come back. Join us again.
Are you planning a special occasion? Or are you looking for a place to store your boat? Welcome to Big's Boat Club and Gardens. Our gardens provides a serene ambience for those special occasions like weddings, birthdays, family picnics, or any outdoor event. And if you're a boat lover and you've been worried about where to store your precious boat, worry no more. We introduce Big's Boat Club and Gardens. At Big's Boat Club and Gardens, we are more than just a boatyard. We are a premier destination for boat lovers. We provide a secure environment for you to store your priceless boats, and we ensure they are in top shape for whenever you need them. Our members have freedom to commercialize their boats for exclusive cruises and luxury trips to stunning beach houses. And when it's time to set sail, our on-site field station ensures you are always ready to cruise in style. Big's Boat Club and Garden is located at Wale Olateju Crescent off Admiralty Way, Lekki Phase 1. Follow us on Instagram at BigsGarden_BBC. Big's Garden, where
All right. President the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration has attributed Nigeria's high food prices to exploitative middlemen and retail profiteers rather than production issues or government policy failures. Well, Bayo Ononoga, special advisor on information and strategy to the president, said in an interview that intermediaries buy food cheaply from farmers, and inflate the prices in urban markets, worsening inflation for ordinary Nigerians. He shared a personal experience where he paid 10,000 naira for a crate of eggs in Lagos, only to buy the same in Abuja for 6,000 naira, blaming opportunistic pricing and unjustified hikes linked to exchange rate fluctuations. Ononoga also criticized the sellers who increased prices of locally produced goods using forex rates as justification, despite the challenges, where he claimed that the government is working to ease the burden through targeted efforts, including importing agricultural machinery and controlled food imports. Well, we still have in the studio here with us Mr. Nonso Emecheta, a human rights activist and a social crusader. And in Port Harcourt, we still have Prince Nixon Okwara, who was here with us during the first conversation. And from Benin City, we have Mr. William Edaya. He's a political affairs analyst and also an executive member of the Obedient Movement in Edo State. Good morning, Mr. William Edaya, and thanks for joining us on VOP this morning. Hello, Williams, can you hear me? Okay, you need to unmute your mic. While we do that...
Sorry, I've done that now.
Very well then, very well. Let me start off with you. Now, the president and his administration have said, look, the prices of items are not all that expensive. It is middlemen, that actually cause these problems. You go to markets, you shop in one or two places. From what you understand, do you think that the president and his people are right on what they are saying?
They're actually correct.
Okay.
But I'll tell you that they are the ones also giving rights to these people to be acting. Because I'll tell you why. They've politicized this whole issue. The rise of middlemen gave birth to unions. And as I'm talking to you, I can tell you with much confidence that here in Edo State, you have the capitals of all unions in Nigeria resident in Edo State. And most of these middlemen, they don't even have farms. They don't even have any link to having an agricultural farm. But they are building houses. They will get, as a farmer, you get to the market with your produce. They will meet you at the junction and tell you that you cannot carry this thing into the market. We are to go and sell this thing for you. And then they will go to the market, sell this thing in a very high price, come and be giving peanuts to farmers. The rise of middlemen has given so much rights to market women increasing their prices, because these people, even though they don't even fix the price for them, they even cut tickets for them. So my first point on this was that the reason that they politicize everything, why the government, they use them when the time for election, they use them to campaign and all that, is the reason why they have so much power to determine the prices of commodities in our markets. And now, solving this problem, you need to make sure that these middlemen are taken out of the way. Unions are put to place where what they are supposed to be. What are the major reasons of unions? Is to take care of their members. Who are their members? Farmers, not middlemen. So if you restructure these people, bring that direction back to the initial purpose why they were created, then allow these farmers to have access to the market, and they sell their produce to market women, then food price will reduce.
All right, Williams, these middlemen, are they a creation of the government?
Most of the time, in fact, 100% I can tell you that they are the creation of government.
How?
Because
sir?
they actually remotely use them to regulate the unions so that they can work for their interests when it's time of election. And
let's get to the basics of it. Which, like, can you mention like one or two of these unions that you are talking about?
I can tell you, as far as I can tell you that Plateau union, they have pure water unions. You have the rice association. In fact, they can name thousands of unions for you. Even Gary have unions now.
Okay, so essentially what you are saying is that when the farmers do not have the rights, or they don't have access to the markets to go and sell themselves.
Yes. If you want me to do a story for you, I can do it. And when I'm coming to the studio next, I can send the video. I will just go to New Benin Market, which is not far from me here. And I do video early hours in the morning, where you have these people stationed. Somebody coming with the bag of leaves, coming with your truck of plantain, they'll stop you and say, you are not going to enter the market. We are going to sell this thing for you. Why they will tell you that we are doing it for the best price.
Okay.
Not know that
that's interesting. That's interesting. I'd like for you to do that for me, more like citizen journalism, so that we can expand this discussion. It's a big problem, you know, because inflation is on the increase, and the ordinary Nigerians are the ones facing all of this. Well, let's come back to the studio here, where we still have Mr. Nonso Emecheta. Nonso, do you agree with what the other guest in Benin said, that look, the cost of high prices it's not really solely based on inflation, that middlemen also spike some of these things? What's your take on that?
Yeah, it's actually a multifaceted issue.
Okay.
You know, when somebody goes to the farm, for instance, to buy something from a farmer, the farmer is not paying for fuel. It's directly from the farm.
Okay.
So take, for instance, a farm in Owerri in Imo State, and somebody is to convey those food items to Lagos. They will factor in the transportation. Then where I'm having issue with the government is when they are now blaming it only on the middlemen.
Okay.
Knowing full well that there should be subsidy on transportation that transport those food items to the urban centers.
Okay.
So these are the issues. So when the person who convey the food items to Lagos from the village is factoring in the expenses, the transportation.
Essentially the middleman.
Yeah, the middleman, yes.
Okay.
Adding it, you will not blame him because he will not lose out. He is considering the fact that these items are from Imo State to Lagos. So what he bought from the farmer, who just bought it out from the farm, you cannot sell it at that same amount. Now the government should come in. How are they supposed to come in? All those food items that the common man, the everyday Nigerians cannot do without should be subsidized. Look at transport, for instance. They should do the railways so that there will be, smooth conveying of the items to the urban center at a very subsidized prices. Now look at the fuel, for instance. The fuel item, you know how much they're selling fuel now? Somebody is coming all the way, transporting items from Owerri, from Maiduguri to Lagos, where they have the market. And you expect the person to sell it at the same price that he purchased it from the farmer. It's not possible. So the government has a role to play in the sense that those, especially transportation, all those commodities that are vital to human quotidian existence, like the food items, transportation, everything should be subsidized. So that by the time those people bring it to the city, there will be no need to inflate the price because they're equally incorporating the expenses they've incurred along the line.
Just last week here, the government gave a directive to dismantle all illegal roadblocks and even people who are taxing Nigerians, especially on the farm produce, illegally. Now, if you're saying that we have to blame everything on maybe the cost of transportation, what happened then to those persons who have been, according to what AD has said, more like working for the government? They've actually decided to be collecting money. For example, if you want to move tomatoes from Jos to here, and you have to pay a whole lot of money on the road to persons who are not even licensed to collect those things. Now, isn't that also another way for, isn't that more like a way the government is treating themselves on the leg? Because I know that they are aware of those people who are mounting the roadblocks, but still they are not doing anything to stop them.
Yeah, it's one of the cogs in the wheels of the market people. Like I said, it's a multifaceted. You can't just anchor it to a particular reason. Now, the roadblocks now, you can imagine somebody who has been paying from, let's say, Borno to Lagos. And the person in question has to incorporate those monies he has spent. It still boils down to the, the hiccups, that people face. You have a whole lot of issues. So somebody who has been paying, every checkpoint, police and all that, even as the government has, given them the directive to dismantle those roadblocks, I can tell you that some of these people work for the police. They give back.
Okay.
They give back.
All right then. I do believe we still have Prince Nixon with us. Prince Nixon, are you still with us?
I'm with you here. I'm with you.
Great. Thank you very much. Now, Prince Nixon, let's look at what the voice of Nigerians is, what the voices of Nigerians sound like. Nigerians, a lot of Nigerians, especially on social media, are saying this is bulk passing. This is blame game. That this administration is only passing the blame to other people, saying that middlemen are the reason. We know that insecurity is a major reason. And if there is surplus food, prices, of course, will come down. How do you react to this administration being tagged as an administration that just shifts blame?
Thank you. I think we must understand the fact that the issue of rising food costs or inflation has multi-interconnected factors. Let's look at the shift in the market dynamics over the years. We had in Nigeria whereby there were a gradual collapse of cultural and traditional farming system. I recall in the olden days when you go to the rural areas, you'll find people who cultivate the yam. They have the yam ban, they have the cassava, they have the corn, and all these things. Most of them primarily don't buy them from any market. Now suddenly there is a kind of that shift in that market dynamics that food are now being transported from the cities to the rural areas instead of from the rural areas in those days to the cities. You see, we'll move corn, yam in those days to the cities, but the other way around now, it comes from the cities to the rural areas. So this thing didn't just happen overnight, and that contribution could be a departure from a traditional system and disconnection from the soil. These are multi-faced. We are not ruling out the fact that there were also a long-time neglect in government policies. I recall one time I had a position in my own state where we were recommending the bringing back the old Imo marketing board, for instance, that was giving the direct food sales to the masses as an indirect way of controlling the prices of food. So those who could actually queue to buy directly from the government at a very subsidized rate and all that, that was able to inflate some of the market. So for a long period, there was that abandonment, and the people disconnected from the soil. The issue of insecurity came to Nigeria, and all these things were President Tinubu's administration. They didn't start in 2023. This thing happened for the past 20 years, and they were never addressed for one day. We came to the point that the kidnappings started happening inside the bush, inside the farms, and again, they were beginning to have a shift from the traditional farming to commercial farming. Nigeria was not prepared for it. There were no plans for credit over the years for the farmers. There was no preparation for preservations of the farm produce. There were no preparation for transportation for them and logistics. There were a couple of issues we can trace, but one problem that I don't that grieves this administration is that the president took responsibility of even over 20 years damage, people are leveraging that as anti-masses. It is a collective responsibility that will fix this country.
All right, then.
So
absolutely.
Let's not
yes. Let's now, you said a few things that I would like to react to. It's okay to say some of these things started before this administration came in. But when this administration came in 2023, I spoke to a very significant farmer right here on VOP, and he made me know that President Tinubu, months before 2023 election, brought farmers together to ask what they needed. I mean, a research was done. His own farm, which of course is a very big farmland, was visited, and then proposals were submitted to the president. At that time, there was hope that some of those things would be looked into. I can't list the things he mentioned. Now, I spoke to him some months back, and he was disappointed that a lot of the proposals they put forward, none has been addressed. In fact, what we have seen is this administration giving out fertilizers to farmers that don't even go to the farmlands. How has that aided the reduction in the price of food? How has the distribution of fertilizers affected the price of food? We're talking food. Just the other day, Bayo Ononuga, your colleague, came on social media and said, cited some NBS data that food inflation has dropped, but other factors, other indicators reveal that no, it hasn't. It basically has stayed the same. How do you help me understand all of this?
As a matter of fact, I'm not sure the person is telling you the truth or the fact in this matter, because the president has introduced a lot of policies and positions of the federal government and support to the farmers, including that fertilizer. But certainly there will be complaint in the distribution chain of every government incentives. That's what happens in the third world country, and these issues are being addressed. No matter how we look at it, it can't be 100% done overnight. This regime is just about 2 years. You also see the president pushing for dry season mechanization farming, and which is also having got a boost as we speak. The records are there. The president has done a lot of things in the broader strategy for releasing grains and all that.
Now, Prince Nixon, the question now I have to ask is this. Now, I'm happy you're ruling out all that the president is putting in place to make sure that we have enough food in Nigeria. But isn't it more like measuring on the minor and minor on the major over the fact that we know that farmers are not even going to the farm? Farmlands are being occupied by cows, by cattle rallers, by marauding herders in Nigeria. farmers, now that, according to what Bayononogo said, they've been exposed to the usage of machineries, including tractors and harvesters, can't even access their farmlands because of the fact that some elements are there already taking over. So isn't it going to be more like a better way for the government to, first of all, end the issue of insecurity, which a whole lot of Nigerians have tagged to be the reason for shortage of food in Nigeria?
The fact here is that we must be careful the way we politicize insecurity. The issue with Nigerian insecurity did not start with Mr. President, but he is tackling it head on. Let us remember that there might be some covert operations happening around the Sahel and West Africa, which you know that every president will first of all view things in that order and approach it where it needs international collaboration. He will do that. Where it requires internal security tactical upgrade, he will get into that. And it is not a one-day affair. It is not going to be a one-day action. It's going to be a time. Before 4 years' time, I believe that this insecurity will come down. Remember that when the president came, there were strategic efforts in uniting the ECOWAS, because without tightening our borders, we could not stop these people coming in. Most of these people are not Nigerian.
Prince Nixon, we are coasting home now. We are running out of time. I like the fact that you talked about what the president tried to do as ECOWAS chair. I'm also aware that you know that he has handed over his chairmanship of ECOWAS to the Senegalese president, Bio. Now, you have early in your intervention, you said that, look, Nigeria has been collapsing for a very long time, and it took the painstaking efforts of the president to come and rescue Nigeria from the collapse with the strategic plans he's making. Beautiful. Now, during the collapse, inflation rate was 8%. During the collapse, when Nigeria was collapsing, inflation was 8%. The price of fuel was 220 naira. Exchange rate was about 220 naira during the collapse. Your party, the APC, came in and tried to change the collapse. In 8 years, inflation rose from 8% to 22% in 8 years. Exchange rate rose from 220 to 780 naira. And what again? Beautiful. Now, within 2 years of the actual strategizing, to take Nigeria out of the woods, that same inflation rose from 22% to 38%. Exchange rate rose from 780 to 1,700 naira. Prince Nixon, when did you start collapsing? Or isn't the collapsing? Okay. Isn't it now that we are actually collapsing?
You see, but let me tell you something. When we're talking about security issues, there are certain things one cannot openly say. But I want to give you one instance here. You see, the hegemons are completely doing a lot around the Middle East in the control of what? Food, security, and energy. And also, this Sahel belt also has a concentration of food, energy, and there's some interest they can say that some of these people have. And when there are certain covert operations going on, so ordinary man will not understand it. The narrative will be shifted to the people, and they will buy into hating the leader of such a country. And if there is penetration in this country, we are going to suffer it. We must understand that the president looked at some of the things and wouldn't want to look at active approach in solving insecurities in the country. And he's taking up policies that can fight some of these world cabals that are controlling all these areas. They're taking advantage of our multiple exchange, and he has to unify it against all it us, no matter who it hurts or whose us is God.
Isn't it curious? Is it not curious? Is it not curious that these things happen only in Nigeria? Our next door neighbor, Ghana, is doing very well. Other West African countries are doing very well. Why is it difficult? Why is it always Nigeria? There is Russia. Sorry, Nixon. Russia, Ukraine is fighting a war. It's only Nigeria that is affected. Israel, Iran are exchanging fires. It's only Nigeria that is affected. We were number 4. We were number 1. We moved to number 4. All those international vagaries, didn't it affect other countries of Africa? What happened to Nigeria?
The question why don't you ask the same question like in the Middle East? Why is it always Iran? In the 1958, Iran had a very democratic
So what has that got
government
to do with
in place.
Nigerian economy?
No,
Prince?
I'm coming. Nigeria is a gateway, and I'm trying to tell you
Gateway
that
to
the
where?
giant of Africa, the
Giant
gateway
of
to
where?
Africa is a strategic position in the world. And if you see all these things coming to us, it's coming to us because of our capacity. All these challenges are coming to us because of who we are. We will get out of it. With a strong president we have today, who has that
the president or
international
the
prowess
government is
and
overwhelmed.
sagacity, he's confronting all this thing head on. So everybody must understand what the president is doing. Stop looking at it from the lower perspective as if we are talking about the village town union.
All right.
We are talking about
but
international
you know what we're
politics and
talking
Nigerian
about it at
security
this point
system.
in time, Prince Nixon, is that Nigeria has spent a whole lot of money in getting ammunition and armament, and yet, you know, insecurity is what we're still talking about. We spent a whole lot of money also in making sure that, you know, during the budget too, we have a high, you know, level of allocation, paying down for security and all that. But yet, Nigerians are being killed and nothing is being done. How porous is Nigeria over the fact that persons went to Benue State to massacre a whole lot of persons, 200 of them, and yet we've not been able to apprehend one person, even with all the intelligence that we have? I'm listening.
I want to answer a question. You know, Nigeria was not prepared for what's happening to it. Let me give you an instance. Imagine the undetected drones that is flying around in the hands of terrorists today. These people have escalated their tactics. And the army needs to even adjust their budget every day to meet up with this demand. What is our financial power to back up with the international standard of insecurity that is being pushed into Africa today?
So
This government has to still balance. The government has to still balance all these things in your budget and the rest of it all. There is no country that is fighting the kind of war Nigeria has been fighting in the past 16 years that will still be talking about what we are talking about. So Nigeria is a strong country.
In Nigeria Republic, Prince Nixon, Nigeria Republic, they were also having this kind of issue we're having from insurgent groups, and you know, the junta leader come up to say we don't need the colonial masters, or rather the persons who colonized us, actually to be there. We are no longer interested in policy of assimilation. It happened also in Burkina Faso, in Mali. They took this particular decision and they were able to, at least at this point in time, push away or push out these insurgent group attacking their nation. According to what the junta leader of Niger made mention of some time ago, he said that due to the fact that there was a joint task force fighting against unscrupulous element in Africa, they were able to push these people away. But Nigeria is kind of complacent. It's more like we accepted them, we're docile about tackling them, and they've infiltrated into the nation. But the only thing we could get, instead of seeing action, is you know, a press statement denying such from happening. And Nigerians are dying in their numbers.
You are speaking from your perspective, and I respect that. You don't understand what happens when it comes to international politics, security, and diplomacy. You may just be talking about Niger, which is just like maybe possibly what is the Bayelsa state or one state in Nigeria, or you're talking about some of these countries. Moreover, some of these countries you are looking at, they are not even considered as a problem yet. These people will not, they will always protect their interests no matter where it lies. What we are buying, the narrative Nigerians are buying, will destroy us. That's why I gave reference to Iran. Today, Iran has been attacked on this issue of the nuclear weapon and the rest of it all. But that it was a democratically elected president that was removed because of an oil interest of a particular country, the British Petroleum. Right. And after everything, it was this same Islamic terrorists and the rest of them that took over that leadership in protection to one interest of the hegemons. So let Nigerians be careful in the narratives we buy ourselves into. That's where I'm warning. Because these things we are all saying, we need to support the rally around the president to make sure we secure the country and make sure that everything we are looking for, we'll get it from the country.
All right, thank you for your thoughts there,
if not, we will be burning out, getting our fingers burnt in it.
Let's stay with insecurity, because a lot has happened in recent time bordering on insecurity. 12 killed in Borno suicide attack, 5 dead in Kano explosion, and a lot more. So let's talk about insecurity and how to best handle it when we come back from this break. Gentlemen, join us again.
Thank you so much for staying with us. It's still VOP this morning. At least 30 people were killed over the weekend in separate violent incidents across Borno, Kano, Plateau, and Benue states, just days after the massacre of over 200 people in Benue's Yelewata community. In Borno, a female suicide bomber detonated an explosive in Konduga town on Friday morning, killing at least 12 in a crowded market area. In Plateau, a mob in Mangun district attacked a group of 8 wedding-bound travelers from Zaria, mistaking them for a threat. In Benue, Aondo Aka Yago, a former PDP chairman and commander of the Nigerian Hunters and Forest Security Services, NHFSS, was assassinated by gunmen on Friday night in Taka local government area. In Kano, a deadly explosion rocked Yongshin Steel Company in Marili quarters on Saturday, killing 5 people and injuring 10 others. Police believe the blast was caused by a military mortar bomb being handled by EOD personnel. We still have with us in the studio Nonso Emecheta, human rights activist, a scholar, a social crusader, and a philosopher. And we've been joined in the studio by Mr. Akin Fatunke, who is a communication consultant and arbitrator. Also from Benin, we still have Mr. Williams, a DIA. He's a public affairs analyst, a political commentator, and an executive member of the Obedient Movement in Edo State. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being here with us. Oh, we still have also from Port Harcourt, Prince Nixon Okora, who is a public affairs analyst. Thank you so much for being with us. Good morning, Mr. Akin.
Absolute. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
Good to have you join today's conversation.
And good morning, our listeners. Pleasure always to be here.
All right, now I would like to start with you, Mr. Akin Fatunke. You know, we're talking about insecurity again. You know, sometime, I think it was last week, Nigerians were still talking about the 200 that died in Benue State. But today, again, we learned that some persons were laid in Plateau. People mistook them to be a threat, and they were burnt. I think like 8 of them died. In Kano State, there was an explosion that killed 5 people. You know, if you check the number of persons that have died just this weekend in Nigeria, is amounting to like 30-something or thereabout. An individual also was assassinated in Benue State. And, you know, the figure keep on counting, the ones that we have on the radar. In Enugu State also, we still learned that haters are still causing mayhem there in Isuzu local government area. Now, help us actually navigate to talk about this, about the fact that Nigerians are dying in their numbers, and yet nothing is kind of being done about it. The president gave directive that Muftuang should take decisive measure to make sure that this whole thing ended. And we learned that I think some persons have been arrested to this particular regard. Now, help us actually work around this as a nation, that people are dying basically every 2 days. It's not like it's no longer a thing to Nigerians.
Thank you very much. I may want to sound on a negative note. And by that, my interventions in the past 10 years on Nigeria as far as insecurity has not surprised me. Nigeria, politics, leadership, you know, what I call leadership question, basically, and the fact that we've not been able to find our soul as a nation. And what I mean by starting on a negative note, and I hope this will not bleed you, my dear sister, as we go and do the research, more people are dying as we are speaking. As we are speaking, my sister, go and also do the research, eventually. But you know, I know you say, I pray not, but I pray that I am going to be wrong. But I don't think I'm going to be wrong, that tomorrow more and more people are going to die. It's most unfortunate. I'm speaking as a humanist. My heart, my soul goes to people who are dying and who will continue to die. And the panorama that you have given has looked at specific areas. I will even want to add that virtually all areas of Nigeria have one security threat or another, or are not being reported as far as security is concerned. Therefore, I am not going to go any further than to tell you that it's most unfortunate. It's, you know, it's a state of anomy. Anybody can sit down here and be pointing a finger and saying that maybe it's the indigenous, it's the military that's not working, it's Bola Tinubu that's not, it's not police and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to get into that kind of gigolo dance. Truth is, Nigeria, security-wise, is not working, and we haven't gotten our bearings. Both the politicians, I use the word politicians because some of them are good, and the politicians, those who are, you know, tricksters amongst them. And then those of us who are on the other side, who are also, you know, jesters of some kind, who saying that your lorry is going into a gully, you keep on finding a way to clap.
Now, how then, what solutions do you think we need to bring on this table for Nigerians to stop dying? Because, you know, when you say maybe tomorrow other persons will still die, it creates this back, there's this painful, you know, pain, or will I say pain I got actually, anytime we talk about people that die. Now, what are the solutions? We need to prefer solutions. I wouldn't want us to be talking about the sad events happening in Nigeria. What's the way forward? How do we come out of this?
The way forward is what I have always canvassed. Nigeria is not a united country, and we must have a way to find our little bearings to go separate and reconstitute and ask ourselves those questions. You know, by that I mean, let's go our different ways, losing a little bit and agree what we are going to be putting at the center. We do not have a federation. We have a constitution that we call a federal constitution. I think it's a lie. It is not worked, and it's not worked so far. And to that extent, I dare say the solution will be a la Professor Dora Akunyili. Stop. Let's tell ourselves the truth. I ain't going to work.
Okay. Okay.
Because it's not going to work, we now then raise our hands and say, look, let's sit around the table and find some amicable solutions to how we are going to govern ourselves, including
all right,
the issue of security.
You have simply rehearsed what Nigerians know and what you have been saying consistently, that we should go a separate way.
Thank you very much.
Beautiful. But before we do that, immediate.
Yeah.
Who do we hold responsible for the carnage in the land? Previous governments? Present government? Does it look like they are overwhelmed that they can't solve the problem?
Thank you very much. Like I said, you heard me when I spoke. I am not going to join that it is the president, is the governor, is the locals, is the traditional, you know, locals.
So essentially, you don't know how the problem can be solved?
No. I've just told you how the problem can be solved.
No, before then, in the interim.
And you are now saying, in the interim, we should act on what I have just said, like yesterday. And there is absolutely nothing in my mind as a responsible person to tell you that this blood keeps on flowing. I hear that I really don't know what direction you are going. But that direction might be, yes, the present government or the previous government and all that. My answer is simple. Let a couple of angels, including coalition or no coalition, or Bola Tinubu himself continue.
Okay.
This problem is not only intractable, it's not going to be resolved until we tell ourselves those truths that Nigeria is not working. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Akin Fatuke. Now let's go to William Zediaye. Let's have your concluding thoughts now. Just you can add this. I know we've touched on insecurity, so there's no need to start all over again. Just give us your concluding thoughts. You can merge all the conversations that you've been part of. Go ahead, please.
Add to what has been on ground. In 2024, Nigeria budget 2024 for defense, we have 3.85 trillion, approximately $5.13 billion. That can be getting from a budget Nigeria. Now, with this sort of amount of money, are we supposed to be facing such issue of very minimal situations that can be taken care of with proper intelligence? That before such things even happen, you know that, okay, this is what is being cooked somewhere in this country, somewhere in this state. Why, with this such amount of money, why is it that we are still having little issues like this? Not even airstrike from countries or from neighboring countries. There are other countries in the world having issues about war. We are seeing them being bombarded by powerful nations. What we are the one being in such situation. Why are we going to be responding? Now we are having common internal situation, internal securities, that people moving from one state to another, people moving from one local government to another. We cannot checkmate them. We are spending such amount of money in defense. What is the current Minister of Defense doing? Because he came in last year, I think. Matawale, what is he doing? Bello Mohammed Matawale, what is he doing with this budget? What is the NSA chairman, Lulu Bad? What is he doing? Why is it that everybody, what is the main function of the NSA? Is it not intelligence gathering? And then you're having girls. You say somebody went and detonated bomb in the public place, a young lady. And then, okay, there's no security, there's no checkpoint, no proper checkpoint, no intelligence gathering that you say, okay, this is what is going to happen in so state at so time. It's it's quite unfortunate. And this present government that's supposed to be taking care of such issues are busy coercing governors because of the 2027 election. They are busy moving around, looking for how to win in an election that is even far away, even 2 years from now.
All right then. Thank you very much. Williams Ediaye, public affairs analyst, political affairs commentator. Thank you very much for your time. Executive member, let's see that. Executive member of Obedient Movement in Edo State. Okay, good to have you on the show. Now, Prince Nixon Okwara, let's have your concluding thoughts as well. Let's try and keep it within a minute, please. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Are you with me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. What I want to say here is I do not see what is happening in Nigeria as an ordinary internal conflict, as people are seeing it. The narrative of Fulani, herdsmen, herders clash. Nigerians should first of all understand that this is beyond that, and the moment a problem is identified, I think it's halfway solved. I see it as part of the same old strategy during the colonial days, kind of what I call a classic pacification tactics, that create chaos, then appear as a savior, encourage militarization and foreign peacekeeping. So the issue we need here now is just to look at again our approach to it. We should understand the fact that now that there is a tactical escalation, Nigeria needs to up our games. We will look into some kind of drones they are flying, identify where they are coming from.
All right.
The unfortunate thing is that some of our bilateral agreement need to be reviewed, because some of these people who are sending, when you look at a kind of terrorism whereby drones are flown, Nigeria is at war, no longer like what we think it was.
Unfortunately,
and it's happening around security, food area, the Middle Belt, and the rest of them, where we have a lot of military.
Thank you very much, Prince.
So the media should support the government in terms of the people's mindset, so that they can understand the fact that the government is doing their best.
All right,
but we must.
Well, thank you very much, Prince Nixon Okwara, political strategist, certified security expert, management expert, and real estate developer. All right, thank you very much. Now let's bring it to the studio. Nonso, let's have your concluding thoughts. Please keep it short.
Yeah, thank you. The sacred duty of every government is to ensure the security of lives and property. But in a situation whereby the president is pushing the blames, they are not taking responsibility. Nigerians are dying. The nation is bleeding. I want to call on the president to actually carry out a responsive action, a definitive action to curtail the insecurity. And again, the long term, we can't talk about insecurity without talking about the fact that the unity of Nigeria is negotiable. People keep saying that it's not negotiable. And you cannot tell me that, for instance, in Igbo land, we have a kind of government that will secure the people. And we have intrusion of people, external forces to come and kill people in Igbo land. So let us go back to the drawing table and actually discuss our continued existence in this country. That is the first et origo of all the crises we are facing in this country.
All right, and thank you very much, Nonso Emecheta, a human rights activist, scholar, social crusader, philosopher. Thanks for your time on the program. We still have Mr. Akin Fatuke. He'll stay with us into newspaper review Thank you very much. But we have some responses. Let's quickly hear what Nigerians are saying. These reactions are from the YouTube page. Well, this one from NS Ojo says, Shettima today, as it stands, is the best to guarantee 2027. And then Kiki says, Kwankwaso is also a sellout, someone you can never trust. All right. Well, those are reactions by some Nigerians there. Oh, well, that's it on the show. Join us again. Join us at 10 when we get into the papers proper. On behalf of my colleagues here, Chukuma Okoro, Fina Okechukwu, and the backroom staff, I am Moses Humphrey. Wishing you a beautiful time. But join us again at 10. Bye for now.